Hey, so 4 tips to stop yourself from getting in your own way. How many times have we heard so many people talk about the fact that you're in your own way, get out of your own way? But the thing is, how do we do that? What are they talking about when they're saying get out of your own way? Just before that, though, is this. What we have to do is think about when we get to a block or a challenge or a limit, then most of the time what we have to do at that position or that situation is we have to do 3 things. We have to, first of all, and the most crucial thing is step back and change our perspective. We have to increase our awareness of the situation, because most of the time when we hit that limit or we hit that challenge and we don't know what to do next, or we think we can't go any further, all it is a principle that we only know what we know. So in order for us to take that next leap, that next challenge, that next step, what we have to do is increase our awareness of the situation, which probably means making sure that we increase our knowledge. So learning, changing our perspective, looking at it a different way, maybe getting somebody else to come in and give their perspective to help you change your perspective of that challenge, that limiting factor, that limiting belief, so that we can increase our awareness and then move forward. Once we increase our awareness, what we then do after that is that we change our reality. So this is the action part. So we've changed our perspective. We now understand a little bit more about it. We've increased our information that we've got. We change our reality by doing something about it. So therefore, reality being what is happening in the real world. So changing our awareness, changing our perception in here, then we move on to changing our reality, changing the actions, changing what we're doing, going at it a different way. That then results in number 3, which is making sure that it is impactful on our results. We are getting the results that we require. So they're all tiny little pivot points. So what we have to do is increase our awareness, change our perceptions, which will result in us changing our reality, which will result in us changing our results and our outcomes. So that's the key thing about when we hit those limits, hit those challenges. This is our problem. Our problem is the fact that we are in our own way because of the way that we work with our minds. And to put that into perspective here, I'm going to use an example from when I was actually teaching. And I went on a residential trip with some Year 6 students, and it was great. We got to the place, and the first evening we went into the dining hall, and I was just observing, as you do as a teacher. And what I saw was one individual, a boy, and he was getting frustrated. I could see his frustration building up. What then happened after that was that I could see he was using his knives and forks like this, trying to eat his dinner, holding them this way round, okay? So he's trying to maneuver himself to try and get to eat his dinner. So the challenge is, I can't eat my dinner. This is ridiculous. I'm getting frustrated. Why can't I actually get into it? And he's looking around at everybody else. So all I did was go over to him, and I changed his perspective. I didn't tell him that he was doing it wrong or anything like that. I just got him to move his hands, changed the way that he was holding his knives and forks, and then said, "Yeah, try that. Look at that." All of a sudden, he was able to cut. He's looking like everybody else, and the result is he's got his dinner, okay? So it was just a simple task of changing his perspective, which then changed his reality, which then changed the outcome, and he got what he wanted, less frustration. Oh my God, never been taught how to use knives and forks before, but that's the way it goes. So what we've got is a similar situation where we are not using our minds, or we're not understanding our minds, we're not using them in the right way. We're using our massive resource the wrong way around. We've got to change our perspective of it. So this is it. 4 things. First one is this. The mind focuses. This is a really crucial thing to understand. The mind focuses on what it thinks you believe is the most important things. It focuses on what it thinks you believe is the most important stuff. So whatever you tell it, it will believe. It runs off of beliefs and values. So whatever you're feeding it in terms of those beliefs and values, not anybody else, we'll come on to in a second, that's what it will drive off. So that's the crucial part. Number one, understand that the mind focuses on what it believes you want. Rule number two is the understanding of the fact that your mind is gullible and it doesn't understand sarcasm. Your mind is gullible and it doesn't understand sarcasm. So whatever you say to your mind, especially internally, it will take as gospel. So it's gullible, doesn't understand sarcasm, and it will connect its own beliefs to things that you're saying are connected, and then it will believe those things are factual. So, as an example, if you say to yourself, oh, I'm so stupid, your mind's thinking, okay, people, we are stupid. Make sure that we're sending in negative emotions. Let's get depressed, people. We're stupid. Okay, so that's what happens. I say to myself, I'm stupid. That's the connection that the mind's making. That's how it will react. Another example. I really need a McDonald's. I need a McDonald's so much. This is how much I need a McDonald's. Your mind's thinking, we need a McDonald's, everybody. Forget about everything else. Forget about all that healthy stuff in the cupboard. Forget about all the other nice things. We need a McDonald's. We must do everything we can to get a McDonald's. So let's get depressed about the situation. Let's send in depression. Let's send in cortisol. Let's send in... And you get my point. Another one, just as an example, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough for this person. I'm not good enough is another prime example of us installing limiting beliefs in our own mind. It takes it as fact. And the thing is, you are good enough. You might not be good enough yet to accomplish something, or you might be different to the standards that somebody else is expecting. Doesn't mean that you're not good enough. So if you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm not good enough for this, I'm not clever enough for this, etc., then that's what your mind's going to believe, and it will start to react and behave in a way where you are not enough. So that's another example. So number one is that your mind focuses on what it thinks you believe to be true all the time. Number two is your mind is gullible and it doesn't understand sarcasm. So, therefore, what you say, especially your inner voice, is so important. Do not say things that you don't believe and that your mind is going to think is fact. Number three is that it only works on the words and pictures that you create in your mind. It absorbs what you say and the pictures that you create in your mind. So, if you say to your mind, this is going to kill me, then all of a sudden your mind will be thinking, whoa, everybody, this is going to kill us. Okay, send in protective measures. Send in, we've got to make sure that we are not putting ourselves at risk. This is an avoidance situation. Reject going towards this. It's going to kill us. Okay, well actually it's not. It might be. This work is going to kill me. Is it going to kill you? If you use that kind of terminology and you put that kind of information into your head, then it's going to believe that. Number four, familiar is important. Unfamiliar is rejected. We do not like unfamiliar things. We like familiar things. We are creatures of comfort. Your mind hates unfamiliar things. So, as an example, I know that there are people that have been through this experience, and I know personally that there are people that have been through this experience. Familiar becomes what we accept be our reality, and when we become unfamiliar with that reality, then we will reject going towards anything like that. So I know people that have had a period of time where things are chaotic and things are a struggle and things are challenging, and then out of nowhere, maybe one day or over time, new relationships, new environments, all of a sudden, or especially if it's quite quickly, everything calms down and we get what we want. But the problem is that is unfamiliar and therefore causes rejection. Don't like this, where's all the chaos? Where's all of the things that I've got to be doing? Where's all the challenges? Why is it so easy? I don't like it. And it can send people into a negative spiral. So if we want things, if we want to go in a certain direction, if we want to achieve certain things, then we have to make those things familiar. So we do that by what we know it works is visualization, making sure that we are giving that the attention that it needs, making it familiar in our minds, in our world, and therefore into our reality, changing our perspective, making it familiar, giving it our attention, thinking about that's what we want, not this current stuff that's going on. Make what's in your mind, make what's you want and you desire to be familiar, because if it's unfamiliar, we will find it hard. So, number one, the mind focuses on what it thinks you believe and what you have let it know is fact. It is gullible. It doesn't understand sarcasm. So the words that you use in your inner voice are crucial. And you have to make sure that you understand that the words that you use are going to be taken as gospel. Number three, it's very similar, but it's words and pictures. So it only absorbs the words and the pictures that you put into your mind, more or less. It will take in information from the environment and from other people, but how you process that is what it goes on. The words and the pictures that you create. Marissa Peer, I remember this stood out to me when she said, people who are scared of flying say things like this to themselves. Look at that. That is a flying coffin. So no wonder you're scared of flying if you're saying things like that. So make sure that you are putting together good words, strong, positive things that you want to put together in your mind. And then number four is making sure that we understand unfamiliar will be rejected. So if we want things, if we desire things, we have to start making them familiar. And that might be thinking about it more, giving it more of our attention. Make it familiar and make the things that we don't want unfamiliar. So there we go. 4 tips to work with your mind better so that we're not using things the wrong way around, but we're using it correctly, and that will unblock our limiting beliefs and unblock those challenges and hurdles and barriers and make things a little easier for us to really strive and go forward. Okay, your coach Rob, speak soon. Number 4 is, and the final one, is that it loves familiarity. There it is.